Is anybody home? Guess not. So, guys, episode 5. Been pretty wild road so far. This might actually be the final episode. Currently, I'm not sure of that yet, but it's sort of likely. We're still kind of missing a lathe there. Pretty sure you can mill steel with a bunch of OSB panels. So that one will definitely be the last one. To kind of put it briefly, my goals for this entire video would be to fill up that wall, build some overhangs up there, build some shelves down here, including here. Put all the tools back there, here, there also, maybe. I think that's about it. Pretty sure I forgot something, but whatever. We'll get there when we get there. So let's just kind of stop wasting time and start putting crap back. Because this right here, my temporary workshop deal, I mean, it's just hopeless. When I need a tool, it takes me like 30 minutes to find that tool. That's like best case scenario, by the way. There have been times where I don't even know where the tool is, even though I've been looking for it like 2 hours. I definitely want to fix this situation. This is bad. Absolutely hate it. Bunch of screws. We'll fix everything. Correction. All you need is a bunch of screws and a huge hammer. That should be written on the sun. What a piece of crap. Straight-ish. Now, in order to ensure that the cabinet doesn't wobble all over the place, best option is to just screw the damn thing into the wall. Okay, let's put some stuff back. Now, next up are the mirrors. These things. If you are wondering about the mirrors, those things are actually pretty useful. Especially when you're driving into the shop with the car. Then they're really useful. For some odd reason, I have an absolute ton of these things laying around. Might as well put them here. Put them somewhere, I mean. That'll do. Let's move on. Well, that's convenient. So next up, the Soviet table. they kind of fix themselves. Don't know what's up with that. Actually, I kind of wanted to buy new furniture. Not just a table, but all new, what would you call them? Dressers or cabinets? Whatever, let's just call it furniture. So I wanted to buy all new furniture here. So cabinets up there, down here, and also a new table. But kind of expensive, that. You know how it is. So some sacrifices had to be made. Decided to put the old Soviet top quality furniture back. Think it's fine. The new table that I wanted to buy here, I already picked it up and I almost bought it. But the quality, guys, the quality they make these days. I mean, that thing was made out of, what is thinner than sheet metal? It felt like it was made out of paper. I think the paint thickness on the metal was thicker than the metal itself. It was made by some UK company. It cost about 290 bucks, made out of metal, but the metal thickness, boy, pretty sure if I just kind of farted next to it, the entire table would just kind of fold in half. At least this Soviet stuff, I'm pretty sure I could even place my dozer blade on it and lift the front end of the dozer up while the table takes up the load. However, I will not be testing that out, mostly because I'm paranoid and I don't have any more Soviet tables. I mean, I could do a bit milder test. Gonna call it the pussy test. Think that's fine. Bro, I can't even believe this thing fit here. Super tight situation. Probably gonna smash this up. Don't care. Care. Guys, check this out. See how the Bobcat looks from the reflection? It's like the middle part of the machine is just missing. That is super confusing. Looks like I'm some sort of a midget from here. Weird. Oh man. There goes my new rubber. Yeah, thing still works. Pretty sure if I tried that on one of those work tables made in this century, in my mind those things would just kinda disappear into the void. Completely cease to exist. Overall, it's a pretty good table, but I would love to have more cupboards. Those things. Close enough. You know what really grinds my gears? I did a bit of abuse to the thing. And the thing is, and it's broken. Definitely not made in the Soviet times. Well, at least this one has all the handles. I mean, here we just have a bolt. And this one... What is up with that? Master crap coverer. Absolutely nobody in their right mind would flip this thing around and be like, what is this even supposed to be? It's kind of mind-blowing how much stupid content I can just pull out of setting up a Soviet table. Guys, that is quite insane. But for some reason, you like this type of crap. So I will keep delivering, but let's carry on now. Oh no! I did not measure the length. It's a bit long. Longer. What to do? I have no idea. Apparently I was cutting concrete with this thing in the last episode. Yeah. Why is the thing empty from back here? Could have easily made the dwarves longer. Seems like a wasted space. I don't know, kind of weird. Man, this thing was definitely not designed for this spot. But it will be super useful. I like when everything is nicely sorted out. Stuffing everything in a single dwarf is not that great. Now this thing is almost IKEA level of stuff. I managed to get it for free. It was either that or they were gonna throw it away into the wood chipper. No idea what I'm gonna put here, but whatever, let's just move on. So I also wanted to use this thing. I'm thinking perhaps there. That would be a really useful storage spot to hold screws, nuts and bolts. Don't think it's happening. You can't get anything through here. I'm gonna save it for the big workshop build. And I'm gonna figure something else for this spot. I'm gonna focus on this wall now. I have no clear vision what I exactly want. Gonna try to figure something out. Maybe it will work. Point towards this end now. Guys, this thing is like gold. I still can't wrap my head around how expensive these panels are. One sheet is about 100 bucks. So much pain in this scene. Most likely can't reuse this one. Think it will do. Next up would be the tools. Tools, guys. We get to put the tools back. You have no idea how long I've been waiting for this moment to put the tools back. Before I do that though, just in case, I'm gonna spray all this OSB down with some fire water. So it should change its tone a bit. If I recall, it was something reddish or a bit darker. I kinda like the fire water. I like the tone it puts on the OSB. Normally it's like that. Yeah, looks pretty good. At least I know that I have some sort of fire protection going on in that corner, in addition to this entire room. Just like before, I'm planning to put a bunch of tools on the wall. I also have this toolbox. But in all honesty, I never used the thing. I absolutely never used the thing. I don't know why, but I prefer to have the tools on the wall. Pick what you wanna pick and later put it back. That is like the easiest toolbox in the universe. I'm not sure if that's just me or maybe you guys prefer it that way as well. By the way, I also bought these things So these are like not coming out. No idea. So these are like impact sockets. So last time I used some chrome sockets and I got a bunch of nice comments. So to avoid that in the future, I went and got a set of these. By the way, this pile, almost $300, not including this thing. So they're not cheap, that's for sure. The biggest I went with was 60. I don't think I will need anything bigger than 60. Oh, and everything above 60 is like $70 each. So I'm not really feeling very good about spending 70 bucks on a single socket. Unless I really need one. Seems highly unlikely. Guys, this is not bad at all. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Like I said, I did not have any vision for this. I pretty much just YOLO'd everything. And this corner came out really well. I really like the fact that things are on the wall. Just need a hammer for some reason. Well, very easy to put it back because each hammer thing or any item has a specific spot. So for example, you can't fit this thing here, for example. You could do that, but then this would look weird. So it's very easy to just grab tools, whatever you need, and then later put them back. This has worked out great for me so far. So I'm not really sure why I even bought this thing. This was like almost 600 bucks. Some of them, actually most of them, have not even seen any use at all. I never had a charging station in my workshop. I usually charge the batteries in there. I'm not really sure if this is a good idea. My concern right now is that metal fragments will kinda fly all over the place. Well, if the batteries are placed upside down, then it's fine, but maybe it's not the best spot for a charging station. Or I could add some type of a wall here to kinda do something. Like 2 seconds without glasses, and I already have some crap in my eyes. Ew. Whoops. Kinda hard to cut stuff now. Apparently. Wow. I think I have to go further if I want to cut at the angle. Thinking at least this much. A bit more. Wait a minute. Actually, I don't think I will be using this tool to cut at the angle. I have a tiny bandsaw mill that I wanna kinda buy one day. So I'm gonna most likely use that to cut stuff at the angle. I don't really like using this tool to cut things at the angle. I don't know why, but it's not the best tool to do that. So let's just kinda square this. Whenever dealing with fire safety, remember to always remove splinters. Flat surfaces actually don't catch on fire that easily, but open splinters like this, they don't need much. Better safe to be sorry. Oh, and also don't really want to get splinters into your hands. Like that. Okay, I guess this trump wall should do something useful. Maybe. So yeah guys, I'm pretty satisfied how this part came out. So all the easily accessible sockets and impact drivers, bunch of hand tools, some of that, so other stuff, secondary welding table, drilling location, yeah, pointless. And the press, my homemade press. Gonna keep it forever. Super useful. Well, I only use it like maybe once in 5 years, but still super useful. By the way, if you are wondering, what is up with that? Why do I have so many cut-off discs? Yeah, I don't know. Don't ask me. I haven't bought any of this. Maybe I at some point bought something, but bro, I have like lifetime supply of cutoff discs. It's extremely hard to believe that I will ever run out. By the way, here's a fun fact. So I have these aluminium cutoff discs. So these are for cutting and these are for grinding, I guess. They're a bit thicker. And the fun fact here is that I have more of these aluminium discs than I actually have aluminium. Yeah, I'm not kidding here, guys. Wanna see how much aluminium I have? Where is my aluminium? So got a piece here. This is steel, and I got a piece here. 2 pieces of aluminum. That's all I got. That's all I got. I never use the stuff. Probably should, you know, but maybe one day if I get some type of aluminum welder, maybe then I will try that stuff out. But yeah, I have more aluminum cutoff discs than I actually have aluminum. But anyway, guys, now that we pretty much wrapped up this side, let's focus on the other side. First things first. Peak table needs a big vise. This is the biggest vise that the local Home Depot thing had. You're right. Absolutely nothing is unbreakable. So, first things first, guys. Let's remove these things. It's unreal how much torque this thing has. Kind of weird that it doesn't have that handle grip. Usually you can't even install one here. Like secondary handle. You tell me, guys, can you somehow sharpen these? I mean, step drills are fantastic, but the moment one of these tooth lose sharpness, then any cutting edge beyond that tooth is just completely pointless. For me, the number 14 is just gone. You can even see some grinding marks on it, and I can't even use 16, 18 or 20. So it's pretty much useless the moment one of these tooths goes dull. Yeah, there we go. What is this dildo here? Strawberry jam. This moment. I've dreamed of it for years. Secondary welding table with a beefy vise. Now I've been thinking where to put this thing. I actually use this thing quite a lot. But I don't want to put it here. I think it will interfere with this thing. So me thinks maybe here. I'm also looking to install this here. Because I'm almost certain that I will just smash this thing up with my hoe. My hoe is such a hoe. That should hold. So I made this little box thing in order to catch all the fine steel dust. So I think my little grinding corner came out great. I really like the fact that I have a bunch of steel, boulders and concrete in the area where I'm mostly gonna cut steel. It creates that kind of sort of safe feeling. But it's still not perfect. So I'm not really worried about the ceiling. I'm mostly worried about sparks that fly long into the distance. For example, something like this. And the sparks can fly really far, even if your welding table is at the correct spot. I mean, sparks flying that direction, not that big of a deal. But I don't really want the sparks to fly in that direction, because in this Soviet box, we have a bunch of easily flammable liquids. So big no-no right there. I do have an idea how to sort of fix this, but so at our workplace we have this fire blocking fabric thing that is installed around the welding area. So that thing will not burn. Well, it's definitely spark proof. I want to install that fabric thing around the entire welding table. So starting from somewhere here, then doing a 90-degree turn and that way. So this entire area would be just closed off. Currently I'm looking into it, how much that thing will cost. Most likely though, I'm thinking at least grand, maybe more. Because I do need about 7 meters of that fabric. And I'm pretty sure it's not cheap. But if it's not that bad, then I might just do it. Guess we'll see in the future. Not right now though. But anyway, let's move on. I'm thinking let's do a shelf up there. What is happening right now? Can't I do math? Man, this thing looks like a pizza oven. You know what? I think I'm not gonna add the second one. Yep. You know what? I think I need to kind of support this. Wait a minute. I still need to do the wiring down here. Why does this keep happening to me? This is so unfair. Bro, I don't even care. I'm going straight to bed. Well, you know what they say. Another beautiful day to... I don't know. Let's just continue this BS. If I don't stop, then eventually I will finish. Seems like a plan. Some shelves here as well. Now, before I move on to the compressor side, which is that doghouse right there, let's finish off the shelving. So originally I had shelves extending all the way on the top part of all the way to that end. This time though, not gonna add anything there. Nothing on this side, but I wanna install those original shelves back entirely to this wall. Try to get as much storage space as humanly possible in this room. Guys, I'm thinking I'm done with shelving now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm done with shelving now. Let's focus on the compressor doghouse. From the beginning, plan to install it back here, because I do want to enclose this area off. So the compressor will be protected from primarily dust. But I do believe the thing needs some vent holes. So it will be sucking air from that side, and it will be cooling the motor by blowing the air that side. Currently I'm not sure if I need the exit hole or if just inlet hole is enough. You tell me guys, I don't know. But whatever, let's make do. I have a feeling drilling this core out will not be pleasant. But it should be doable, maybe. Here goes nothing. That's weird. I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to happen. What is up with this thing? Okay, clearly, I don't know, it's broken. Whatever, I have plenty more. If you guys know why it does this, let me know in the comments. It seems to work like after it cools down, but if it gets warm, I don't know, it's missing its target or hammering but not spinning. No idea. Oh. Whoops. Wrong way. See? Same deal. What is up with these tools? Are they broken or are they supposed to work like this? Drill for like, I don't know, 10 seconds and then just... It's kind of odd that I have two tools and they both behave the same. So we got some rebar action going on there. Plan C, I guess. Not sure how long this will last. Let me draw a new battery. plans here. I mean, I do have this thing. It has two things going for it. First of all, it's not made by that Makita company, and the thing has turbo power written on it. Also that. So maybe it will do something. But I can make these two connect. This is a point bigger. Plus, I'm pretty sure if I even good, this would just break this bit off. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Guys, don't you just love a huge work table where you can just shove a bunch of things aside and focus on something that matters? I absolutely love it. Anyway. And now this thing to that thing. I don't know why, but this thing turns so hard. What is up with that? Does it need to work its way in? Pretty sure it's not supposed to be that hard. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Should work. I absolutely love this tool. It's the best tool in the universe. But I don't understand, why does this thing cost almost $100? To manufacture it, I'm guessing like 10 bucks maximum. That's ridiculous. You know, I'm not really 100% sure where you need to pump the grease in on these things. I've always just kind of stick the thing in the hole. But if there is another method, do let me know. You know, it would have been a lot easier if I just installed a pipe when doing the concrete pouring. Whatever. Let's see what plan D has to offer. Because plan A kind of worked, then it didn't. Plan B just purely sucked. Plan C was going backwards. So plan D will cure cancer. Wow! What the crap? That was a nightmare. But check it out, guys. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4 teeth remaining. Oh, 5. Yeah. 5.5 teeth remaining. By the way, this is just a cheap super cheap machinery drill bit, so I'm not really surprised. I think I paid like maybe $8 for it, and I got 2 holes done with it. Yeah, seems about right. Okay, because it took me like almost an hour to get through this bit, then I'm definitely not gonna go for the second hole. Plus I don't think that bit will survive another hole. At least the turbo ding worked and I got through this. Go for a ride. Now this thing is broken. And the nut broke in there. And I can't get this piece out. I'm trying for a while here now. This is probably a bad idea. This is either gonna work or it's gonna work. Or that. Now, should I show you guys how to get that thing out? Fairly simple, to be honest. There are a bunch of different extractor sets out there, but I personally prefer these. I don't know why, they just seem to work every time. Just pick the right drill for the job. The set also comes with these guides that you can use to make sure that the hole goes dead center. Now, it's not a big deal if it's off by a little bit, but center is always best. Wait, what? Pretty sure they're not supposed to bend like that, they will just break. Is this drill bit made out of mild steel? What? That is the weirdest crap I've ever seen, guys. What the hell? This is so weird. Wish I had a backwards drill bit. This is quite hopeless right now. That was sort of a nightmare. Here's what's left of the bolt. The thread still looks good. Went a bit off topic there, but you know, whenever I watch Andrew videos, the time he tries to repair things, for example, he's doing something and that something breaks, and then he will attempt to fix that something. I don't know if it's just me or those parts are the best parts of his videos. That's why I always enjoy watching his videos. Like when he's pulling up some weird technique to either undo a bolt or get that thing fixed or put that thing there, or if he breaks something. For me, those are the best parts of his videos. But let's carry on with this doghouse now. A doghouse obviously needs a door. I just noticed this. That's pretty cool. Guys, this is the first company I've ever seen that ships with Torx head screws. Usually it's always pointless Phillips heads that you strip almost immediately. Bit tight still. Give me a moment, I'm trying to figure it out. What am I missing here? It should work. As the thing turns, it should not interfere with anything. Oh. Ta-da! I'm just gonna edit that part out. Nobody will ever know. I'm thinking some magnets to hold this thing in place. Where's the screws? Screws are there. Somewhere here. Should work. Kinda tight in this place. Ow. What the crap? Kind of tight in here, but manageable somehow. Actually, I'm surprised. Kõrgus on õige, aga sinnapoole. Guess it's okay. That's a tight fit, guys. Good night. Sweet prints. Okay, I think that's sorted out for now. Let's continue. What's next? So initially I thought I'm gonna just plow through this and hopefully cap it off with this episode. Sadly, you guys need to bear one more. At least one more. Please, 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 one more. I'm gonna sick of this project. So in the next episode, probably need to start up with some cleanup because you know, I should have about 7 measuring tapes right here. And currently I can see only 1. Plus all my pencils are missing. When you can't find stuff anymore to continue the work, just do cleanup, guys. It will resolve everything. But anyway, in the next episode, not much left to do. So first of all, I still need to do the electricity stuff. A bunch of sockets to install. Need some better lights in this district. Yeah, this is pretty dark. And my cousin did bring some LEDs today. Maybe they are good. But I think these are white light. And I don't think they're gonna go together with blue light. Yeah, that's gonna be a conflict. Conflict of interest. Anyway, after I sort out the electricity stuff, I still have ventilation to sort out. I do have that ventilation. It works, but I'm pretty sure it's not enough for this entire room. I'm thinking I'm gonna keep that there. Cut these a bit shorter, so that thing can do its thing on that side. And on this side, I'm gonna install a separate ventilation system. So I want a ventilation tube on the welding table and also on the future lathe location. Somewhere there, somewhere here. And beyond that, we only have the lathe to install. Now, I'm supposed to get that lathe in roughly 3.5 days. If everything goes according to plan, which most likely it will not. But for you guys, that thing is gonna take a while because I'm not planning to install the lathe after the next episode. I'm actually gonna postpone that a bit. I need to focus on some other stuff. But right now, let's wrap this up. As always, guys, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Great news, guys. I found a door mechanism for this door. Well, it's not quite correct, like some type of cheap $10 set, but it remotely fits here. I mean, almost. Although I got the door for free, that does not mean I'm willing to pay freaking $600 for the locking mechanism. No, thank you. This will have to do. It kinda almost fits here. I just need to modify it a bit. Do some cuts here, do some cuts there, and we should be good. Oh, by the way, whoever built this door, look away now. I don't need your tears. Some oil as well, then the door won't rot away. Kurat, alati on mingi väike junn. Kao minema. Oh no, whoops. Yeah, I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to turn the key. Figure that bit out later. The door is a bit thick for this lock. I think I need a longer key. Where did it go? Yo! I lost the pin. It's a very convenient magnet right here. Yeah, the core, it's kind of all over the place. Don't like that. Not sure if this is a good idea. Maybe a little. Just kind of. That's fine. On this side though, I can't quite reach with the key. It's in there. That should do. Well, that works. This bit, though, might need some hacking as well. You know, this is kind of weird. The handle is so deep in there. Maybe I can... Well, on this knob, the hole is right at the tip. But it's way off towards Russia on this knob. Let's just make a new hole. For $10 versus 600, don't even care. Whoops. Quite nice door actually. Kind of wonder how much this would cost. Considering the locking setup is about $600. I'm guessing the door most likely is over $1,000. Maybe.